views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hey there, it is time for the Bronx Buzz, and what we do on this program, in case you don't know, is we talk to reporters, journalists, photographers, videographers, anybody involved in Bronx media, try to give you an idea of who they are, what are they thinking about, what are they writing about, what's behind kind of what you ultimately see in a newspaper, on the web, or on TV, whatever. And this evening we have two fantastic guests, really at both ends of the spectrum. We have somebody who's just starting and a longtime friend of mine who's been in media and journalism for decades, for a long time. And we're going to start on the short end first. And Sonyi Lopez from BronxNet Television is with us. Nice to have you with us.
Hey, Gary. Thanks for having me.
It's been a joy just talking to you beforehand, learning about a little bit about your background and interest. But let's introduce you to the people of the Bronx. They may see you on BronxNet Television. Where you're from? How did you get into journalism? Give us a little background.
So my name is Sonyi Lopez. I'm from the Bronx.
Yes, and please tell us your name.
Of course. I'm from the Bronx. I was not born here, but I was raised here. I've been here for 23 years
now. What
neighborhood? The South Bronx, 3rd Avenue, the Hub section.
Okay.
And I began as a journalist in high school, actually. I used to do morning announcements every morning.
Oh, yeah? You were the annoying person?
Yes, I was that person.
Oh, my goodness. That's great.
So everyone would have to stop what they were doing, get up for the morning announcements, and do the Pledge of Allegiance.
And you would read,
yes, there was a script.
This afternoon, we'll be having, extra gym class.
That was me.
Wow.
But of course, I would improv in there every now and then, or throw in a little bit of sports, or anything that was going on in the community.
I love that.
School.
I have to tell you, I love that.
That's
I think
how
that,
it started.
and I've talked to young journalists for a long time. If I were to tell them this is a good way to get yourself started, I would say that. Okay,
Thank you.
Now what school was that?
That was Alfred E. Smith Career and Technical.
Sure.
So I remember in the past, my mother would always hear from my teachers that I talked too much. I was a pleasure to have in class, but I was too talkative.
I love this too. I love this also.
So that's where I found my passion almost for just telling people stuff, just informing people of what was going on in the community. And I started in high school with that.
And then you went to college somewhere?
Yes, I went to City College.
Okay.
And I studied journalism there.
Wow,
just graduated.
This is a Bronx girl, and you studied journalism. What, aside from the announcing and being the person, and people will know I can relate to that in a big way, being the person with the microphone. I mean, I obviously feel comfortable doing that. What about the subject matter and the idea of doing news or journalism interests you?
I was just interested in telling Bronx stories and getting the opposite side of the Bronx. Not just the stories that were given in, public news stations or stations that weren't covering the positive end of our borough.
Because we have much more going on.
Yes, there's so much going on. And the Bronx is so big. Like when I became a reporter for BronxNet, I started realizing how much there is to cover.
It's not just your little corner of the world near Alfred E. Smith High School.
Yeah.
For me, this is really a real joy to hear this, because I went through the same thing. Grew up in the north, not quite the west, just in Van Cortlandt Village, and said, wow, this is kind of my world. And then as I branched out, 1.4 million people, 62 neighborhoods. It's crazy. What have been your favorite stories to cover?
My favorite stories are probably the arts and culture stories. Anything, I just recently did a Papi el Maestro story. Reina Santos, a photographer, photographed her father over the course of his aging and also being a composer in salsa music. And I found that so touching, just the fact that she can get so personal and tell the story of her father for other people to understand. And I just found that, I love it. Just personal stories are my favorite.
You were telling me, we were talking about the structure of her job.
Yes.
And so you're telling me you get, you do a couple of stories a week, 2-3 stories a week.
Yes.
Do you have, we're going to show something so you can see what she looks like on camera. But do you have a favorite story that you've done, or is that the one we're going to see? We're going to see one about books or something.
Yeah, Reach Out and Read. That was a recent story at Montefiore Hospital. They actually just implemented a program to help children with disabilities just have fun in their, what is it called? Their,
It's all right, don't
well,
worry
they're
about
at the hospital and waiting to be attended by the doctor.
Okay,
They're just
for their
encouraged to,
appointments or
right, for their
things like that.
appointments. Sorry.
Right. No, it's okay.
They're just encouraged to read, and I really found that touching. So that was one of my favorite stories, definitely.
So here, listen, folks of the Bronx, here's just like a tremendous story. A young lady who grew up in the Bronx, went to high school in the Bronx, got her first chance to hold the microphone in high school, which I think, and I'm going to tell you a story about me that relates directly to that. Got a chance to do that, and now is going out to cover stories about our culture, our world, to be able to communicate to the people of the Bronx what she sees and how beautiful we'd like to think and wonderful the Bronx is. I'm applauding. I love this story, Sonyi Lopez. Do you have designs in, you know what, let's do this. Before I ask you that question, let's show the story. What was it, reading to read?
Reach Out and Read.
Reach Out and Read. Ladies and gentlemen, drum roll, Sonyi Lopez from BronxNet Television.
Reading together can happen anywhere, even at your child's doctor's appointment. Montefiore Hospital and Reach Out and Read have partnered since 1998, providing more than 421,000 books to local children.
We give books to children from the newborn period to 5 years of age. It's to promote early literacy, so we give guidance to the parents about how they should be reading to their children from a very young age. It's exciting to read with children, to engage them that way. They're happy, they're learning words. It was just a wonderful experience launching this program.
Montefiore now has 17 sites participating in this program. After wellness checks, parents can pick up books like this one to read to their children at home. Jumpstart, a national early education organization, has also joined Montefiore and Reach Out and Read. To launch the event, Jumpstart trained college students read with children and provided copies of their Read for the Record book titled Maybe Something Beautiful.
It's about a little girl who wants to beautify her neighborhood, and she gets the community involved. And that's what we're trying to do today. We're trying to beautify the Bronx by coming here at the Montefiore Children's Hospital, and we're really trying to teach children, even at a young age, that they can beautify their communities.
Dr. Christy Malik works with the Linking Individual Needs of Children with Services, or LINKS program, providing expert care for medically fragile children who have multiple medical conditions. Patients like Emma can enjoy bonding and now reading and drawing before a wellness visit.
This collaboration is particularly useful because the patients that I treat in the LINKS Complex Care Program often have communication difficulties, and so providing them with books gives them an opportunity to develop, but also to bond with their families.
Lema loves to read. She loves stories and read. So when I received the invitation, I was very excited to come. We are very happy with this, and we congratulate every person that is working in this, because I know that they are caring about kids.
Reach Out and Read is an opportunity for medical staff, parents, and their children to foster growth and love through reading, no matter where they are. Reporting for BronxNet, Sonyi Lopez.
All right, there we go, Sonyi Lopez.
Thank you,
congratulations.
Gary. Thanks.
When you look at stuff like that, what do you think about? Like, are you real critical about yourself? Do you say, well, look at that, I did okay? I mean, believe me, I know what it all feels like, having done it for many years.
So seeing the process go through after writing the script, just seeing the story come together, it's emotional for me.
There's
just seeing
nice
it
about
and
it.
sharing it with other people so they can see what's going on in the Bronx. That's the emotional aspect for me. But of course, I definitely criticize myself. You gave me a few pointers. Hold the mic this way because
Don't tell.
No,
don't
but
give it away.
I want to hear that because I am growing and learning as I go.
Well, there are many people who think, I hate to say it, they think it's all about them. Right. And, this goes back, before you were born, practically before I was born, I was once at a panel discussion, and Rolanda Watts, who was an anchor at Channel 7, was there. And I'll always remember what she said. She said, if you're watching that TV and you're wondering what my hair is doing, I'm not doing a good job. And I thought that was a fascinating point of view. And the anecdote I have to share with it was actually written up in the Riverdale Press. My first story with a microphone, was in 6th grade, long story, PS 95 Dance Festival. For whatever reason, some teacher said, we need an announcer to announce the dances.
Wow.
And they said, Gary, you should be that guy. To this day, I remember what it was like. And that was just like you in high
I
school.
love that.
That was my first gig. And I remember standing there with a microphone saying, I'm not nervous. Why am I not nervous? And here we are doing
You don't have to picture everyone in their underpants because it just comes naturally to you.
How could you not like Sonyi Lopez? Now we have another real quick clip, and I wanted to do it just for fun, poke a little fun. So can we show this second clip of Sonyi, right? It's about 30 seconds long. Go ahead, roll.
Among some of the tour stops were the Grand Central Stones, a series of stone samples placed in Van Cortlandt Park for consideration in the construction of the Grand Central Terminal, as well as 2 burial grounds within the park. The Last Stop tour also marked the end of former President Peter Ostrander's 30-year dedication to the society within our historically rich borough, the Bronx.
When children go to school and you hear things, and I always ask them, what do you think of George Washington? Nobody thinks of the Bronx. And he spent almost the whole 1776 in New York City and a lot in the Bronx with the fortifications. People always think he's there some other place, Valley Forge, he's in Virginia. It's here. The microcosm of American history is here. I mean, you start with glaciers, you got the American Indians, the colonial, the Dutch, up to the Revolution. Not many places in the country would have such deep history.
For events, tours, information, and to sign up for an affordable membership, you can visit kingsbridgehistoricalsociety.org. Reporting for BronxNet, Sonyi Lopez.
And I only did that for one reason, because her hair was totally different. I thought it was just adorable that Sonyi's hair was different. Well, listen, it has been a joy to have you here with us. What's next, or it's just whatever they assign you, you're going to go out and do?
Yeah, I'm just going to go do whatever they need me to do for BronxNet. I'm having a great time just learning everything and taking advantage of all the programs.
One of the budding new journalists in the Bronx. She will be on this side of the chair, the table one day when Gary decides enough is enough. It's just a pleasure
Thank you so much,
with
Gary.
us and have you changing the borough as we all going to try to do. We're going to take a short break. Here we are. Take a short break, and then we're going the other end of the spectrum. Not somebody just starting, somebody who's had a wonderful, illustrious career in journalism. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self, and I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
It's not always easy being a dad.
Do you have panda asthma too? Does that run in the family? This is the home of the most priceless kung fu artifacts.
But when you make an effort,
Dad, we're not supposed to touch anything. Oh, sorry. Go along, son.
it's always worth it.
Whoa, master!
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
I am gonna get you. I'm gonna get you.
Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov to learn more.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Hey, it's Ava, and this is Tess from Vivo's Do It Yourselfie, where we recreate the hottest looks from today's biggest music videos.
After cleaning out our closet, we have a lot of clothes we don't wear anymore.
Like this old t-shirt.
It's not garbage, it's actually a brand new rug.
And to make it, all you need to do is cut, tie, and glue.
Cut the t-shirt into strips.
Tie the strips into knots.
And glue the knots to the bath mat. I love it. Give your garbage another life.
And recycle.
All right, we are back with you on the Bronx Buzz, and my longtime friend and colleague, and somebody I respect for I don't know what reasons, but he's done an amazing job.
The feeling is mutual.
I'm sure it is. My buddy Bob Kappstatter, nice to have you with us, sir. Let's see, former editor of the Daily News, the Bronx.
No, Bronx Bureau Chief of the Daily
Bronx
News.
Bureau Chief, okay.
Former editor, Bronx Times reporter.
Right. Currently working.
Political media consultant, working with Senator Louis Sepulveda, one or two other clients we won't go into yet.
Before we even get into it, what's it like? What's it like crossing to the other side? In other words, you're really working in a realm that you used to cover.
You mean being a newspaper guy, or being a political type?
Yes, you were a political writer, and you covered politics, and now you're working on the other side.
Well, you want to say I just traded lampposts?
I guess that's one way of.
No, it's real. I wrote a political gossip column. That way, if I got it wrong, I covered myself.
Say, oh, it's just gossip.
Yeah, but it's fascinating to see it on the inside.
Interesting.
And I was critical of some politicians, and I still think they deserved it. We won't mention names.
You were cruel but fair.
Well, yeah, but if it tastes like mud, you don't call it ice cream. But people ask me now, well, has it changed your mind now?
Oh, that's a good. Thank you for asking the right question.
And I say about 20%.
Not a lot.
No, listen. There are good, hardworking politicians, and there may be one or two that still slough off a little bit. But that's not bad average.
Let's just talk about you covered Son of Sam.
People ask me, the biggest stories I covered. Yeah, everybody in the newsroom had a piece of Son of Sam's story. Bernie Getz, plane crashes.
You name it.
I don't remember. They just come to me if something happens. Oh, I remember the time. Yeah, right. Obviously World Trade Center, all that stuff.
You love
a lot of little stories, community stories, which are so important. By the way, we're talking community journalism.
Listen, you know you have a fan in here about that because losing the Bronx page in the Daily News and the Times cut out the Metro section. These are terrible developments in media.
It is a shame because communities are really the lifeblood of a city. This is where you find the local people who volunteer. They're on the community boards, they're on the police precinct councils, they're doing good works. They're keeping these local communities thriving and alive and well.
Do you miss it?
Their stories are not being told.
Do you miss it?
Half and half.
That's fair. That is fair. The reason, aside from being able to talk about old stuff and the old days with Bob Kappstatter, is I see what he posts on his own Facebook page. He's still a wonderful photographer. You don't use fancy equipment, right?
Just basic couple of Nike. Actually, I've been shooting a lot with my cell phone.
The phones are unbelievable.
It's everywhere, and it's putting regular photographers out of business.
It's true. Listen, I shoot videos on cell phones, and they come out great.
And some of the latest phones. So.
You have a series which we're going to see of black and white photos.
I'll tell you how. You want to know why I get into that? A photographer friend put out a challenge on Facebook. Here's the challenge: for 7 days, post black and white photos with no people in them. It was one of these fun challenges, and name someone else to join the challenge. And I did it. And I said, hey, this is interesting. This really
So then
focuses
did you
on
go,
subject.
because these are archival photos, did you go back and see things you did in black and white, or you went and took them and turned them into
saw
black and
stuff
white?
that I thought would work in converting from color, and then I started, taking fresh stuff.
So let's get into it. You ready?
Okay, let's go.
Let's go.
Rock and roll.
What's the first
What do
photo
got
we're
here?
going to show? All right, here it is. You may have to look
Boom,
over there.
okay.
What is this?
This was Hurricane Maria, the relief effort in the Bronx. Politicians were talking. They were loading all this stuff into trucks, and I saw this elderly woman over there with her flag.
What do you want to tell us what you like about this photo?
It says everything about the situation.
Including the word Puerto above her head.
The relief supplies. She's got the Puerto Rican flag. Look at her face. I mean, this is.
I got it.
It tells a tale. It tells a story.
We have a lot of photos, so we're just going through them.
Yeah.
Show the next. What's next?
Oh, I love you got to go to a street festival.
You know what's interesting is that when I saw these, because I saw them before we went on the air, when I saw these, I said, God, these are old photos. But these are not old. These are all modern
This was
Bronx photos.
this summer, the Morrison Avenue Festival. Festivals are great to shoot pictures at. Everybody's having a good time.
And you know what I liked about that one? On this one, we're going to spend a moment
okay.
with. What I liked about that one was the fact that it says New York, so you've got the time and place, and then it puts the whole thing in context. Well, this is obviously Reverend Ruben Diaz. He is
former state senator, now city councilman, and that's the senator in action.
In other words, if you were looking for a personality shot with the cowboy hat,
that is him.
At a political event.
Well, you got to remember, he's a preacher too, so he really puts it on, whether it's political or at the pulpit.
How many shots did you take to get to this one?
Oh, I think there was one or two before this one, but obviously, since I'm with Senator Sepulveda, I'm going around to these political things, and he's always there, and I'm shooting it all.
Do you try to get a classic photo, or does it just happen through the natural?
Well, you try, if you see your subject matter and you think it's in the realm, you just keep shooting till you get the right shot, and then you go back and you see what you've got.
And then are you aware of it, that you like, wow, I know that's
Oh yeah. I'll see 5 shots of him at the podium, and I say, oh, that's the one. Boom.
This photograph is just so tremendous. You got the woman in there, but of course the dirty ones are all around her.
Well, this was at the Morrison Avenue Festival about 2 years ago, and I was walking around with my camera, and I said, hey, can I grab a picture of you guys? You look great. I mean, a lot of people, if you just approach them, will be more than happy to have their picture taken.
Well, more so now than before, because now everybody's got a phone and everybody kind of expects it.
Whoops, go back a minute.
Wait, go back. I wanted to mention something about.
Can we go back?
Here was the other thing is, you didn't have to say to them. Did you say to them, turn around, or did?
I don't remember, but I think these guys sort of wanted to didn't want their faces.
I'd rather not be identified as a dirty one.
But it really worked, because then you saw the gang colors.
Yeah, with the helmet. Oh, Bob, you're so great. I'm so glad I invited you.
Listen, everybody's got a story to tell. Everybody's a great potential subject. So.
And you know what? It also balances out the borough of the Bronx. Yeah, we have certain elements, but there's that woman who kind of looks like a regular Bronx woman in there. It's great. Great. I'm applauding that one.
All right,
what's next?
All right, let's click.
And how long ago was that?
About 2 summers ago.
2 summers ago.
Oh, this is Junior Guzman, the teen that got slain by that Trinitario gang. This was a press conference that the politicians did. This was the throw-up wall that they put up. Everybody signed their signature. I like this shot because the 2 kids, especially the one wearing the do-rag with no shirt on, it speaks neighborhood.
And also, given the way he was murdered, allegedly, I guess we could even say it's been confirmed, murdered by gang members, and so somebody could stereotype the young boy on the right and say, well, this looks like a gang member. It's almost like, what is his impression of seeing this? That kind of thing.
A lot of the photos that I take, you may hold this one, don't go away. I cut off like heads, or you'll only see portions, or in this case, the back of a person. It makes you want to think, what's the story here? The viewer has to say, I wonder what the story is with that kid.
What you are good at, it seems here, and you could see it really in this, with the RIP at the bottom and the Junior from your Bathgate family, that helps to put everything in context. Well, just like the dirty ones, just like the other guy at the festival with the New York, and the woman with the Puerto Rico, you capture those words and it puts the thing in context.
Well, you have to remember, I worked with a lot of great photographers at the Daily News. I worked with them, and I saw them in action.
And so you learned
I think there's a lot of
like our friend Sonyi, who said she wants to learn from people in the past. All right, keep going. We don't need to see us. We want to see.
No, go away. Come on. Pictures.
Put up more pictures. What do we got? What's next? Uh-oh, there we go.
There we go. All right, that is Father Louis Gigante, who founded SEPCO when the Bronx was burning in the 70s, Father Gigante at I always have a hard time pronouncing, St. Athanasius Church formed this organization with a sister. I forget her name now, I'm sorry I did. But, and they helped rebuild that neighborhood. They got new housing in it. They worked with Borough President Freddie Ferrer.
Look at the love and regard in the women's
I was
faces.
taking shots, and these women were coming out, and these women were all of them wanted to just hug me. I said, that is the shot. That's the shot.
Look at that.
Just
they
how much they
can't
revered
get their
this
arms
man.
around him enough.
They can't.
Bob, you are great, man. Great. Next, let's go. We don't have a ton of time. I want to get more.
Okay, we're running out. Okay,
That's
we
okay.
got 5 minutes. All right. Got it. You know, the Bronx's churches, especially the South Bronx, when you're poor, you got to have faith. And this was Senator Sepulveda would make the rounds on. It still is. He's trying to make the rounds of every church in his district. And
Boy, and in his district there are plenty.
yeah, there are. I think there's something
Storefront churches.
I think their count was 300 or something.
Wow.
So he's trying to knock. So I mean, he was there, and
Well,
I was just sitting, across, and I said, "Whoa, this is a shot."
I will quote
This
from
is faith.
I will quote from John Lennon. God is a concept by which we measure our pain. So
There you go.
All right, we got time for one more photograph.
Oh no, keep going.
No,
come
one
on.
more.
My favorite shot.
This one?
Curtain opening on toys at a giveaway in the South Bronx.
Oh,
This is the
I
curtain
love
is
it.
just open, and there's all that toys on stage. Look at these kids'
All right.
faces.
I'm
Oh my
glad we got
gosh.
to your favorite photo because they're telling me I got to throw you out of here. But
all right.
we're going to bring you back, and
Okay.
we'll have you do more.
I'll bring more back. I cut a lot of pictures out.
Well, listen, there's 40 years of pictures here or
There
more.
we go. Well, whatever.
Bob Kappstatter,
Always,
the great
Gary.
Cappy. That's it. They're telling me to say goodnight. Good night. Thank you, Sonyi. Thank you, Cappy. Thank you, Whitney, and everybody in the booth, and good night.
Put the rest of them up.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?